I need to tell you about what happened to me last Halloween, even though I know how it sounds. I'm 25, probably too old to be trick-or-treating, but I'd volunteered to take my neighbor's kids around the neighborhood. Their mom was sick, and their dad was working late, so I offered to help out. The kids, 7-year-old Lily and 9-year-old Marcus, were excited. I figured it would be easy. Walk them around the neighborhood for an hour, bring them home, get paid $50. Simple. We started at 6 p.m., right when most kids were heading out. The neighborhood was one of those planned communities where every house looks similar, with winding streets that all have names like Whispering Willow Lane and Serenity Circle. I'd only been to their house a few times and didn't know the area well. For the first hour, everything was normal. The kids were having fun, filling their bags with candy, comparing what they'd gotten. I was scrolling through my phone, half paying attention, following them from house to house. Around 7:30 p.m., we turned down a street I didn't recognize. The houses here were spaced further apart, and fewer of them had their lights on. Most weren't decorated for Halloween at all. "Let's go back," I suggested. "There are better streets with more houses." But Marcus pointed to the end of the cul-de-sac. "There's one more house down there. Look, their lights are on." He was right. At the very end of the street stood a house with every light blazing. It looked older than the other houses, with a long driveway and a huge front yard. The yard was elaborately decorated, full-size skeleton props, tombstones, fake fog, the works. "Okay, last house," I said. "Then we're heading back." We walked down the long driveway. As we got closer, I noticed something odd. All the decorations were facing away from the street, toward the house, like they were arranged for someone inside to look at, not for trick-or-treaters. The front door was wide open, warm yellow light spilling out. But I couldn't see anyone inside. "Hello?" I called out from the bottom of the porch steps. "Trick-or-treat?" No answer. Lily tugged on my sleeve. "Maybe they're in the back?" "Let's just go," I said. Something about this felt wrong. But Marcus was already running up the porch steps. "Come on," they left the door open. "That means they want trick-or-treaters." He reached the open door and called out, "Trick-or-treat!" His voice echoed inside the house. That's when I heard it. Footsteps from inside, moving toward the door. Heavy footsteps, but they had a strange rhythm, like someone was limping or dragging something. A figure appeared in the doorway. It was a man, tall and thin, wearing an old-fashioned suit that looked like it was from the 1950s. His face was pale, almost gray, and he was smiling, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. "Trick-or-treaters," he said in a soft voice. "How wonderful. Do come in." "Oh, that's okay," I said quickly, moving up the steps to grab Marcus. "They can just get their candy here." "Nonsense," the man said. "I have special candy inside, the really good stuff. Not like the cheap candy everyone else is giving out." Marcus looked up at me hopefully. "Can we?" Every instinct I had was screaming at me to grab both kids and run. But I didn't want to seem rude or scare the children. Maybe I was just being paranoid. "We'll just be a second," the man said, stepping back into the house. "Come on in." Marcus and Lily walked inside before I could stop them. I had no choice but to follow. The interior of the house didn't match the outside at all. While the outside looked well-maintained and modern, inside it was like stepping back in time. Old furniture, yellowed wallpaper, ancient-looking photographs on the walls. And it was cold. Much colder than it should have been. "The candy is in the kitchen," the man said, pointing down a hallway. "Straight back." The kids started walking toward the kitchen. I followed, but kept looking back at the man. He hadn't moved from the doorway. He just stood there, smiling, watching us. We entered the kitchen, which was just as old-fashioned as the rest of the house. On the kitchen table was a large bowl filled with full-sized candy bars, the expensive kind. "Wow," Lily said, reaching for the bowl. That's when I noticed the photographs on the refrigerator. They were Polaroids, dozens of them, held up with magnets. I stepped closer to look at them, and my blood went cold. The photos showed children. Different ages, but all in Halloween costumes. They were all standing in the same kitchen, reaching for the same bowl of candy. And in the reflection of the window behind them in each photo, you could see the man watching them. But these photos were old. The oldest ones were in black and white, showing kids in costumes from decades ago. The newest ones were in color, but still looked like they were from the 1990s, based on the costumes and the quality. "We need to leave," I said quietly. "Right now." "But we didn't get our candy yet," Marcus protested. I grabbed both kids' hands, pulling them away from the table. "We're leaving. Now." We turned to go back down the hallway, but the man was now standing at the kitchen entrance, blocking our way. His smile was wider now, unnatural. "You haven't gotten your candy yet," he said. "It's rude to leave before getting your candy." "We're fine, thank you," I said, trying to sound calm. "We need to get home." "No," the man said, and his voice had changed. It was deeper, darker. "You don't understand. Once you come inside, you have to take the candy. That's the rule." I looked around frantically. There was a back door on the other side of the kitchen. I pushed the kids toward it. "Run!" I shouted. We ran for the back door. I could hear the man behind us moving fast now. I grabbed the doorknob and pulled. The door flew open. We burst out into the backyard and ran. The yard seemed to go on forever, stretching back into darkness. I could hear the man behind us, his footsteps heavy on the grass. "Don't look back," I yelled to the kids. "Just run." We ran until we hit a fence at the back of the property. I hoisted Lily over, then Marcus, then scrambled over myself. We were in someone else's yard now, but I could see lights from other houses ahead. We ran through yards, jumped fences, until we finally made it to a street I recognized. Only then did I stop and look back. The man was gone. I couldn't even see the house anymore, just darkness. I got the kids home and tried to explain to their mom what happened, but I could tell she thought I was exaggerating, making excuses for why we came home early. She paid me and I left. The next day, I went back to that street during daylight, determined to find the house and call the police. But I couldn't find it. The street ended in a cul-de-sac, but there was no house at the end, just an empty lot, overgrown with weeds. I asked a woman walking her dog if there had ever been a house there. "Oh yes," she said. "Long time ago. It burned down in 1995. Terrible tragedy. There was a man living there. He'd been luring neighborhood children inside on Halloween. They found remains of 7 children in his basement. The house caught fire during a police raid. The man died in the fire." My hands went numb. "What did the man look like?" She described him perfectly. Tall, thin, always wearing an old suit. I never told anyone else about this. Who would believe me? But I know what I saw. That house was there even though it shouldn't have been. That man was there even though he's been dead for almost 30 years. And sometimes, late at night, I think about those photographs on the refrigerator, all those children from different decades, all reaching for that bowl of candy, and I wonder if I looked at those photos closely enough, would I see children in costumes from 1996, 1997, 1998, all the years after the house burned down? Because I don't think that man ever stopped collecting children. I think he's still there, in whatever version of that house exists on Halloween night, waiting for someone to walk down that long driveway, waiting for someone to come inside. And we almost became part of his collection.